Okay, so today I am starting you all out on our webinar, and we will be reviewing the page ladder, and we're going to talk about adding fonts today and setting the ReplayIt private photo submission account. I am on the website, let me get there first, for Memory Book Online. And this website, um, if you go to it, if I can get there, I don't want to close anything at the moment. The Memory Book Online website, it does allow you to customize covers. You can bookmark it to get to our tech support. You can also bookmark it to get to your rep. It's a very convenient site. So for new advisors, I would go to that um, just to maybe even have it on your desktop for quick convenience. Now, starting out, I'm on our site to get into your yearbook, and you will want to use the current year that you're on. So this is our 2024 book. So the information you're going to need here is your job number, and you will have a username and password that will be assigned to you by your yearbook representative. If you don't know that information, please contact them by email or by phone, and they can help you out on that. If you're a new advisor and you're not sure of that, again, please reach out to them. If at any time you forget your password over the summer, you can click on Forget Your Password. Okay, now the first thing you see when you click on here is what is called the dashboard or the deadline clock. And just to give you a brief description of this, it will look a little different for each person. You're seeing the total pages that are available to you, and it shows the current status that you are in regarding the number of pages that you have available to you and any that are completed or in progress. You also have the option to do upcoming events, tasks. Personally, I feel like this is a very beneficial option that you can use by simply clicking, and you can come to the plus signs here. You'll notice both of them are available in the same place here. If you click on the plus, you can enter in the name of an event that's later on your school calendar. You can color code it, put in a description, add it to your calendar so it appears so you are less likely to forget to cover a school event that you really want to have input into your yearbook. Now, I do want to mention when you put something in, as you can see, I put submit yearbook cover. I'm going to just maybe make up an event here and I'm going to put a date. If you put one in um, for the future, you'll notice it doesn't show up right away. You do have to refresh your page, then it will show up. So as you see, my dance is now available. And the same thing goes with your task. You simply come to the plus, add it in. You can also assign a specific staff member to that event. Um, I was a former advisor for many years, and I did not use this feature, and I really wish I would have because it's really beneficial. Um, we do have a separate video that is going to help you on tagged images. There are a lot of great features regarding tagged images. A few things I want to point out to you is that regarding tagged images, just to kind of bounce around for a moment, um, you have either a CD or a link that will be coming to you when you have your school pictures done. Now, when you get that, we can make your life so much easier by uploading all your student portraits for you, and all the images will be tagged, and you can simply do what's called a flow of those pictures quickly to a page where all the names and the pictures go onto the page at one time. But you just need to send us either the link or the CD, however the pictures arrive to you. You tell us how you want those pictures organized, and Again, we put it up to the system for you, and it's under your pictures would be under Create an Image Library. You would get your pictures then under here where it says Portrait, and you would see them categorized either by grade or by classroom if you want them by teacher name. It's however you tell us to organize them. Again, you just have to get that information to us. Here in a minute, we'll also be talking about the Replay It feature. So while we're here, I do want to point out there is an inbox for Replay It. Um, when you get those pictures sent to you from community members, those pictures will come to you into a Replay It box. So I wanted to show you where those will arrive while we're here. I'm moving around to go back to that dashboard. I'm just clicking up here on the logo in the upper left. So that takes us back here. You can again at a glance just see some quick information here. Now I'm going to go to our page ladder now. Our page ladder is going to be the big focal point today. You can get to it two ways, under the Plan page ladder, or you can go to Create page ladder. Either one will take you to the same place. Now, a page ladder is really the backbone of your book. This is where you want to organize what you want your layout of the book to be like. It doesn't mean you have to create it yet, but it's thinking ahead by outlining what you want your book to be. For example, some schools want their book to be in chronological order, meaning the order in which the school year takes place. Other schools want theirs to be in order by maybe elementary one section, high school in another, all sports together, and so on. That is just you creating your ladder to kind of get that idea in order. So the ladder this year does have a new look, if you're familiar with the program. Um, if you'll look over here to these sections that are on the left in gray, there are sections and there are topics. Think of the sections as level one of an outline. You have big picture ideas, like you need divider pages, an opening and closing section, sport pages, student portraits. Those are kind of generic upper level topics. Now, if you go to the individual topic pages, they're a little more specific, like level two of an outline. I'm breaking it down by grades. I'm breaking it down by football, soccer, my individual clubs. So I'm switching back and forth between those. So if I wanted to assign a page to one of these, the easiest way I think is I'm just clicking on opening and closing and dragging over to the page. And as you can see, it says opening and closing right here now at the top, kind of circling that area. I've already done that to these pages here. So I have student portraits. I can do them one at a time if I want like left page different than right page, or put it right in the center and it will encompass both pages at the same time. And you can see that my section is labeled student portraits. And you just continue doing that as you're building it along. Now, when I go to topics, I can break it down saying I wanted these to be third grade pages. Maybe I want these to be fourth grade. Well, I don't want both fourth grade. I just want this one fourth grade. I want this one, whoop, not that one, sorry. I want this one to be third grade. So I can quickly look and see how many pages I have assigned over here to a specific grade. And it should match up with what is over here. Again, I obviously have another page assigned to third grade. So it allows you to look at your outline over here to the side panel, because as an advisor, we will quickly know, I have X amount of kindergarten teachers. I need to cover, so many first grade and so on. So this allows you to set up your ladder and organize that a little bit faster. If you don't like the drag and drop method, once you've established your section and topics, you can come above the page headings and use this little drop down feature right here. This works as well. So it's either one that you prefer. While we're looking at the features on this page, you can do select all, which will then activate the little check marks above every page. Now, be careful when you use that because, again, every page is selected. So you just have to remember to turn that off. You can come in and select individual pages. Anytime you have one or several pages selected, your action button comes to life here. Your action button has multiple options available to you. A lot of these icons are also available above individual pages. So as we talk about those, you'll notice those pictures, it references the same thing. So I just want to make sure I point that out. First of all is complete. The complete option is when you are done with a page, and when you click it, that purple button will change colors. It will change not only there, but it will also change at the bottom of the page. From being in progress, it will change to, I want to say green, but I can't off the top of my head recall. Um, Return is if you want to bring it back, you don't want it to be in a completed status. Now, you can also submit. Now, once you submit a page and you decide you want to basically pull it back, you go, I'm not done with that. I found a mistake. You do have to call your rep to unsubmit that page for you. So be careful before you submit pages. Um, Locking a page and unlocking a page. Um, Maybe you're done, you think, but you just want to sit and wait on a page. Maybe there's some last minute changes, but you don't want anybody to mess around with that. Lock is a great option. The hide option on a page, also known with the little ghost, that feature is helpful if you are doing a dedication, maybe a retirement page, senior baby pages. The only people that can see it will be you as the advisor and the student specifically assigned to that page. And you can simply activate that by turning it on and off. So again, if you don't want any student seeing that, you can just ghost it, and then you as the advisor are the only one that has access to it. Um, let's see. Really, the set black and white and color, I would recommend not using those or not changing anything because most of the time you have a contract that sets you in as at your price, and that could just cause some unnecessary heartache on your part. So really, just leave those alone. I would recommend. Um, okay, so hopefully that kind of is a little bit of an explanation on those. When you do have these activated, you can filter, um, meaning you can show at any time maybe pages um, that are set just as student portrait pages, and it will show you only that. Or you could say, I only want to see the sport pages, and it will pop up that. So again, at your discretion, you can filter and see what you want to see. You can also print. You can print all of the pages at any time to your printer. You can also print a ladder, which will look like this. It's basically just a miniature version of what we were seeing on our screen here. That allows you to have this on a clipboard, maybe post it around your classroom so students can see it at a glance, just to remind them of what each topic is and maybe who's assigned to it. Um, I didn't talk about assigning staff, but you can click on staff and I'll show you how to add staff members here in a moment. But once you have your staff entered in, you can easily drag their names over to pages as well, and it shows who you are assigning to pages at the bottom. So again, this kind of is an all-in-one place to do a lot of your organizing and planning. And again, it's overlooked. People don't think about how important this is, but it can take a lot of the burden throughout the year off of your plate. It is work up front, but it really will help you in the long run. Okay, the next part is your font section. This is under Plan and Font. Oop, I should go to Staff first. Let's just do that one. Staff. Um, your staff, hopefully you have a dependable staff. I know I did not always have that as an advisor. um, but all you have to do is come in and click on Add Staff, and you would type in their first name, last name, a username, and password. If you have school assigned logins for your computers, I would recommend using those. I think it's just one less thing for students to have to remember, and it saves you a lot of headache. Um, and if you don't have something easy, maybe do something generic like, their first name, last name, initial, something like that. I would use a school email if there is one available. Again, that takes a lot of the liability off of you. Again, I know that's a big deal at schools. Now, the role, I would give students just the staff access. It is the basic. Please don't give them the advisor access. If you have a co-advisor, that is an option. Editor just gives them a little bit more, but again, most people find staff to be sufficient. Now, moving along to the fonts. Okay, as you can see here, we have a lot of fonts to choose from. If you haven't already received your Jostens planning box, please reach out to your customer rep because they can try to get one sent to you. But these fonts do not need to be installed on your computer. They are all web-based. When you activate these, they will be available to all students using the the Jostens Memory Book program, so they have access to them. Now, it's recommended you try to limit your book to about 5 fonts. So you want to pick out maybe a headline font, one for your captions, student names, and so on. You simply just click to make it active or inactive. As you can see, as I'm clicking these, it's changing the status. And if you look to the right, you get a sample of what they look like. It's very simple to turn them on and off. Um, so again, very easy to do. Now, styles. I like to recommend that you go through and save yourself a little bit of headache for consistency purposes and set up styles. If you come here, you can add a style, and what that allows you to do is if you say, okay, all of our sport headlines are going to be a specific font style and a certain size. This is just what we're going to do. You can click Add Style and type in here sport headlines. And um, forgive me, I'm going to just make a, I'm going to pick one. Okay, this one's not bad. And say that you want it to be a 72 font and save. And that way, when any student drags over, it's going to ask them, which text type do you want? And they're going to say, I'm doing a sport headline, and they drag and drop it in. They know this is what it's supposed to look like. They can still modify it, yes, but you're not bombarded with questions going, what am I supposed to use? What size does it need to be? All of that can be laid out in advance before they start working. So again, this is just a little bit of legwork up front can save you so much time down the road by having those details worked out. And it, again, saves you on consistency as you're creating your book. So again, just add style, pick a name. Do you want student names to be a certain way? Do you want, you know, all class pages headlines to look a certain way. If you want them different, that's fine too. But most of the time, you want the level of consistency. Moving along, I'm going to talk now about um, the replay it, which is here under plan and replay it. Now, the replay it is a private photo submission that allows you as the advisor to be provided photos by community members and even by students. The benefit of this is that you are given access to these photos. I showed you earlier where that location is. It's in your image library. You see them while no one else has access to them. So you luckily can approve them to see if they're okay, and you can then move them into, okay, the sport folder, or these can go into the candid folder or the prom, homecoming, wherever you think they're best suited to be used. Or you don't have to use them. Again, that's an option as well. We all know students will submit like 100 of their own selfies, and you don't need those. But to set up your photo submission, you simply type the start date and the end date, and you do want to check mark to enable that it's active. It will assign you this long website. I do recommend that you copy and paste it by just simply right click, copy the link address. You can share that to maybe your school's website, your school's Facebook page, whatever resource you choose to share it on. But just remember, you are sharing it at that point. You can promote this with a paper flyer or a digital flyer here that it will make for you. And then you just click Save. Now, I do want to show you what it looks like from the parent viewpoint. When I do this, it bounces me out and because it takes me to a like the parent side, but I think it's beneficial to see that. So I'm clicking on it as if I'm a parent, okay? So I'm clicking Choose Files, and I'm just going to randomly pick a an image to upload. Takes a second. Okay, next they are going to be asked for their email. So I'm just going to type in mine, and they're going to be asked for their name to provide, and they're going to then be asked who is in the picture. So they have to provide who they are, who's in it. So basically they're tagging that picture for you. So they're not giving you just a picture with, well, they could give you a picture with 10 kids in it and only give you one name. They can. But they're making it a little bit easier here by saying, who's in the picture, what group or grade is it, because that is an option here. And it's a required element. They have to tell you the grade. And they can type in like, was it at a prom, a basketball game, or something to that effect. But again, it gives you a little context to the image. Then they have to agree to the terms, and then they simply click upload. Again, I can't stress enough that you are the only one that will see these images until you approve them to be moved down into the picture library for it to be used by you or the students on those pages, okay? And then it can be placed throughout your yearbook. This helps you. I know I was an advisor for a K-12 school. You just simply cannot get to all the events. Um, and a lot of things are happening in people's classrooms. It allows teachers to share images with you. This is a really great resource for you to use. So hopefully you'll find that helpful. Um, that concludes all of the information we're covering today. Just a reminder about that CD for student portraits that you want to get that into us if you have not already. I do thank you for being so patient while we got those audio um, difficulties worked out at the beginning. If you have any questions, feel free to type those into the chat at this time. Oh, okay. I see a few here. Let's see. Let's see. Do students have the ability to see all these fonts? The students only see the ones that I believe you have made available to them. I think the students only see the fonts that are available. So it's not a bad idea to sit down with your staff and talk to them about what fonts they want to use. I think if you give the students more rights, they can turn on and off fonts. So that's kind of one of those accessibility things with rights. Um, again, I can't honestly remember because I never gave my students editor rights, so I did not let them turn on and off things because it can cause problems. But I don't think they can turn them on and off. Let's see, can parents use, oops, sorry, I saw another question. Let's see, can parents use the link from their cell phone? Ooh, it's a good question. I'm not sure. I would think so. I think so. Most of the time nowadays, most things can be. I do know our websites here take HEIC, like Apple iPhone pictures, so I hope so. Is the replay option available for certain schools? It doesn't give me a website link when I try to utilize it. Oh, that's a good question. Sorry, somebody asked if their replay it link doesn't work. You may want to call on the tech support on that side because replay it should be available to everybody, as far as I know. Um, I have not heard anybody not be able to use replay it. That's a very good question. Um, Yes, the session is recorded and the session will be sent to everybody. Somebody just asked that. If you logged in a little late, don't feel bad. I was late getting started. I had audio problems. The another question is about the covers. If we submitted our cover, when we actually receive the draft copy at our end, if we don't like it, can we change the cover? Yes. Yes, you can change your cover. Um, Depending on the type of changes, there can be a small fee on that. So you may want to check with again, your customer rep on that. I can't tell you if there definitively if there is or is not a fee, but yes, I know you can change covers. Can we put in our own portrait photos? You can. You can. If you put in your own portrait photos, um, a lot of people put in more specifically their own baby pictures. Um, or if it's a very small school, putting your own portraits, like if you have like less than 10 in a class, that's not hard to do. But it doesn't give you the flexibility of flowing. And if you've ever seen flowing work, it's beautiful. It is so beautiful. Um, I didn't understand it really until I worked here, and I was an advisor 23 years, so I really was missing the boat on that one. When it flows, you honestly just set up the grid of the blank boxes, and you just say like, here's a folder of my pictures. You hit flow and they pops in all the pictures and names in less than 10 seconds. All your pictures are there. I mean, seconds. It's amazing. And it can go across one page or 10 pages. Flowing is so fast. And even if you have to change it, it's amazing. Again, I did not quite understand it until I started here, and I thought, "Why did no one tell me this?" I was mad when I wasted a lot of time. So again, if you're just doing like portrait pages for us, like a baby page for seniors, yeah, it's not hard. But if you're doing a whole book, I would really send your portraits to us and let us upload those for you because it saves so much time. I can't stress that enough. Just because I spend a lot of time on that here. I really do. Yeah. Let's see. I don't have a link or a CD. How can I submit or label the photos? If you don't mind me asking, who took your pictures? Who is your photographer? Because your photographer should be able to provide you that link. Yeah, your photographer is going to be the one that's the key is your photographer has an index file. It's like an Excel file that has all the students' information on there, and that's the key to it. Um, so yeah, that's the niche. If you have students that didn't take photos, they can be sent or put in at a later time. That's not a problem. We have that all the time. Yeah. Yeah, so if you do have photos that even if you did upload your portraits, individual pictures can be put in later. We can do placeholders saying like no photo available. We can type in no picture available at the bottom, of the page. Those things still happen. Yeah, that happens all the time in schools. So there's lots of options for that. I'm trying to glance through and make sure I get the question. Sorry, I hope I got everybody's. Well, if there aren't any more questions, I do thank you all for your time. And again, I appreciate everybody being so patient while we had the difficulties. Um, if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to your customer service rep or contact our tech support for some of those questions about, for example, the Replay It not working for your school. I think it's a valuable tool and I hope it works for you. Well, thank you all. Have a good afternoon.